Shall we discuss the events of yesterday? Well, as you all saw, the motorcycle finally got done. We were hoping to pick it up at noon, and it didn't get done until 4. It was 2 hours to get to Skooliepalooza. So we had said that if it was done by 4, we would still try and make it to Skooliepalooza. All we had to do was stop for a quick water fill up, and we were good to go. But oh my, were we so not good to go.
Yeah. I insisted on riding the motorcycle back by myself, separate from Cade, because bless her, but she drives the bus, and I was feeling a bit antsy. And I was like, oh, let's do a healthy thing and have some separation because we're together all the time. And
it was beautiful out, and she wanted to ride the
beautiful.
motorcycle. Let's just throw that in there. She wanted to leave me alone.
I did.
In the bus.
I did.
So that she could have a nice ride.
Yeah, I did. That was a terrible mistake. Because,
in hindsight.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
Because, first off, I can't see at night, but at this rate, we were doing okay. We were going to get there right as the sun was setting. I do have a dark shade on my helmet, so that was a really bad idea because as soon as the sun starts to go down, you cannot see anything. So just remember that for later in the story.
So thankfully, our friends Alex and Grace, the pit stop that we were going to go to fill up water closed. That stop actually went really well. Brooke filled up the gas tank on the bike and our extra little tank because we knew we were going to be riding it around over here. And then that is when everything went downhill. My coordinates weren't loading for Skooliepalooza. I texted Brooke and I was like, just go ahead because my thing's not loading. And so then when we were literally pulling onto the highway, she goes ahead. Meanwhile, back here in the bus, the fridge had flown open again, and I literally pulled over on the shoulder before getting actually onto the highway, and I see Brooke looking back, and I'm like, oh fuck.
So in my mind, I thought that she was pulling over because she wanted me to go ahead, because up until this point I was behind the bus just following her, and I was like, okay, I'll lead the way. But then I realized she was not getting back on the interstate, and I had truckers behind me, and I was like, okay, babe, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And this was the point where we got separated and things started to go downhill.
Yeah. So she continues onward. I figured Brooke would slow down on the highway so that I could catch up. I'm going, nowhere to be seen. I'm whatever. So now I'm freaking out because we're kind of separated and we're going to I knew this road was going to be bad because people had told us it was to get in here, and I'm just we both I think wanted to be able to see each other and know we were both okay, and that just wasn't happening. So we had been sent 2 separate coordinates. The ones that I had sent Brooke were the correct ones. The ones that I had put in my phone, unfortunately, took me 22 minutes past the exit down some creepy farm road, and there was roads were washed out, and as I'm 2 miles from that said exit, I am also trying to keep track of where Brooke is on Find My Friends, and I see Brooke is getting off on this exit way behind me, and that's when the panic set in, and I just started bawling my eyes out. It just had been a long day in general. And then meanwhile, Brookie Taylor.
Oh, yeah. So like I said earlier, my visor on my motorcycle helmet is dark, and it got dark fast. So I am going 75, 80 miles per hour down the interstate with my visor up behind semi-trucks. Rocks are just hitting my face and my eyes, but I have no other choice. Then I get off, and I come to just the most terrible road, and Kate had been texted and told that the roads were bad, but obviously I was on the motorcycle, wasn't just randomly texting. And I hit these potholes at 40 miles per hour. And it was miserable. So I come to a stop because at this point I'm where in the hell is Kate at? I mean, she was not that far behind me. So I check on her location, and she is 30 minutes past the exit. And I call her, and sure enough,
just think panic attack, mental breakdown, and the most tears anyone has ever cried. And I'm alone. And Brooke's alone. And that, like, it just was so bad.
And, like, both in the middle of nowhere at night in a town. We just have no idea what the vibes are. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to send you my location. I see a gas station. I'm going to head there. We are going to reconvene. Of course, she has barely any service at all. So it takes like 5 minutes.
Nothing's loading. I'm freaking out. The fridge opens once more. After the most miserable, dark, scary 30 minutes, I think, of both of our lives, we both find ourselves to the Flying J, which is at the exit in which we are supposed to get to Skooliepalooza. I see Brooke on the bike and immediately felt relief. Pulled in. Literally, I feel like I just, like, fell into Brooke's arms, and I was just, like...
I got off that bike so fast, and I just, like, ripped the door open, and I just grabbed her, and she just, like, fell to the ground.
It was the most stressful 40 minutes of my life.
There's, like, coffee creamer and vegetables all over the floor. I'm like,
so bad.
God, I really should not have chosen to ride the motorcycle.
So then we're, like, picking everything up. It smells like beer and cottage cheese and creamer. Like, and tears. And we're like, okay, like, do we do this? And I think at that point we had accepted our fate of just sleeping at that Flying J's and figuring it out in the morning. But then I had texts from the people that we were supposed to meet here, and
like, where are you?
Like, they were concerned, and so I was texting them back that essentially we were having a mental breakdown. And shout out to them, Liz, Alex, and Grace, for being the real heroes of the day. You'll see in the videos that we post, like, there are thousands of people out here. It's amazing, but also, like, hard to navigate in the middle of the night. We pushed through, and we made it.
And then, here's the kicker.
It's good. Don't hold it like a limp weenie.
I'm sorry. As I am arriving, I see that I have a phone call from the motorcycle shop. And mind you, like, they were way past their time that they said they were going to get the tires done. So as soon as we saw the bike, we're like, we're paying, let's go. I had seen the front tire, and I was like, damn, this tire's kind of dirty for being a new tire. But I was like, you know, it's fine. I look at the voicemail, and sure as shit, it says, Brooke, we fucked up. Their exact
word
words.
For word. We fucked up.
We forgot to change your front tire. That's fun. We are now 2 hours away from them. We have already paid for the front tire, mind you. Just going to see how that works. We're either going to get a reimbursement, or I'm going to ask them to meet me in Quartzsite, because there's no way that I am driving all the way down to Yuma and experiencing that PTSD again. But when we got here, everyone was so kind.
Oh.
Like, someone even backed the bus in for Cade, and it was...
Shout out to Gordo. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it was amazing, and we are very happy that we are here. But holy shit.
Yeah.
The quote was, welcome to bus life. So this is pretty typical, and I'm sure we'll get good at it. But what we learned
we will never be splitting up again.
No.
Ever.
Co-pilots are important.
So, thanks for sitting through our story time. And we'll keep you guys in the loop on Skooliepalooza. We're excited to finally be here, safe and sound, and together.